Good afternoon. Hello. Oh, let's try that again with my microphone on, shall we? Hello and good afternoon. Okay, welcome to day 4 of the mini catalogue launch. Welcome to my usual Friday live session, and it's lovely to have you here. I'm going to just see if I really am live, because you never know till you look. Let me just turn the volume down on my iPad so you don't get me twice. Okay, let's have a look. And it looks like I'm there, so that is good. Okay, let's pop that over there. Sandy is here. Hi Sandy, lovely to have you. Thank you for joining me again. Oh, I cannot believe it's Friday. Well, I can, because the weeks do go by very, very quickly. But there was a lot of planning and organising that went into doing 4 lives, 4 days running for the catalogue launch and to celebrate the second set of celebration. And we're on the last day of it, so that's quite amazing. So Sandy says she made it today. She told her husband not to put anything in the diary for this afternoon. Absolutely. In fact, I think you need to fill in his diary for every Friday afternoon going forward, Sandy, and then you know you'll be free when you want to be. Well, I made a few notes for things that I need to remember to say just while people are joining. It's nice to have a bit of a chat and make sure that nobody misses anything that they're going to wish that they hadn't missed just because they weren't quite here as soon as I had started. So this week then, so on Tuesday I showed you my favourite things from the mini catalogue. 1 or 2 of them are going to make another appearance today. On Wednesday we talked all about celebration. Yesterday I actually broke my own rules and did some Christmas crafting in August, and today I'm focusing more on the current season, looking at stamps and papers and so on that are great for crafting for late summer and autumn. So I suppose there's a slightly more of a summery feel than an autumnal feel perhaps to the project I'm going to make today, but there is changing the colours makes them more and more autumnal, so I hope you're going to enjoy those. And I hope I'll be using some things which you have already got your eye on in the catalogue. I've had lots of orders come in. People seem to be loving the catalogue, and broadly they're all loving the same things. There is some variation, of course, but it's interesting to see what people buy first. Usually it's their absolute favourites they buy first, and that's always fun to see if it's the same as mine. Lots of them are the same as mine, but not all of them. So Maureen is here, and Kay is here, and Belinda's here. So Belinda says hello to everyone, as does Maureen. Lovely. Thank you very much for joining me again, ladies. So what I would really love to know is how many of you have seen all 4 sessions. You're obviously here today. How many of you have seen all 4, either live or on the catch-up in some way? So it would be really interesting to know what sort of staying power you all have. I must admit, I'm feeling a little bit tired today. I've been burning the candle at both ends over the last couple of weeks, and yeah, I'm ready for the weekend, although it's not going to be a restful weekend. My daughter has her birthday on Sunday, so she's coming home on Saturday, which is going to be really nice, and we're going to celebrate on Sunday. We've got lots of plans. I'm halfway through making Millionaire's shortbread, which was her request for her birthday cake. It might be a challenge to put the candles in it, but I'm sure we'll manage. And I'm really looking forward to seeing her, although I saw her last weekend for my birthday, so that was really nice too. 2 weekends in a row with my daughter can't be bad. So Rosie's here. Hello Rosie, how lovely that you could join us. Right, so what else do I want to say? I'm putting in an order first thing tomorrow. If there's anything you'd like me to add, let me know and I can add that on for you. This is my last reminder for the Welcome Back to Face-to-Face Classes class on Saturday, September the 4th. That's a face-to-face class, hooray! Last chance to book September's monthly card class face-to-face. Last chance to book September's monthly card class by post, and last chance to book August's Fancy Fold cards class, which is a postal class that's going out at the very end of this month. So today 5 o'clock is when I close bookings for those 4 classes. So if you haven't booked, please let me know. I do have a regular mailing list for all my classes, so I send out the class information, I send out a reminder of when to book, I send out a confirmation of who has booked, and I send out a reminder that the class is going to happen. You know, don't forget to come kind of thing. So if you'd like to go on that classes list, just let me know. All I need is your email address and I can pop you on there. Don't pop your email address in a comment on this Facebook Live. Either send me a private message, or if you've already got my email address, you can just email me and I'll have your email address that way, and just request to go on my classes mailing list. I also have a weekly newsletter I send out with all sorts of information on things that are happening, a photograph of the projects that I made in Facebook Live that week and so on. So if you would like to go onto my mailing list again, just let me know. What else did I want to say to you? Oh, Belinda is, oh that's it. I asked you who had managed to watch all 4 so far. So Belinda is saying she's watched all 4. She's watched 3 live and 1 on the replay, and she says she's collected some great tips. Well, I'm very pleased to hear that, Belinda. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know. Gillian is here. Hi, Gillian. And she says hello to everybody. Maureen's watched 1 on replay and the others live. Well done, Maureen. Excellent. You've done very well. You've got lots of staying power as well. Now, I very often come on here and I'm rubbing in hand cream, and I actually got an email today saying, what hand cream do I recommend? Sorry, I've got a long hair in my eye. Let me just try and get rid of that. There it is. That's better. What hand cream do I recommend? Because I put on hand cream and then I do crafting, and so it's not greasy, it doesn't leave marks on my projects. Well, I don't know. I'm hoping this will come around the right way. I'll hold it up. It's called Lotil, L-O-T-I-L. I can't see till my iPad catches up if that's around the right way or if it's backwards. It is the right way. Great. Lotil. It's a really, really, really old-fashioned hand cream. In fact, I'm going to put some on now. It's not fancy. It doesn't have a beautiful scent. I don't think it's got any fancy ingredients because it's just such an old one. It's been around for decades and decades and decades, but it is really, really good. I've got dry skin anyway, so my hands get very dry. With all the punishment my hands are taking at the moment with the extra hand washing and the hand gel all over the place and everything else, my skin is really dry, so it moisturizes brilliantly. If you get those little splits down your fingers or thumbs in the winter particularly, then it's really good at helping to heal those. And best of all, I've just rubbed that in now. There is absolutely no greasy feel on my fingers at all, and it won't leave any traces of grease on my card making. I don't have shares in Lotil. I don't have an offer code to give you either, but I can tell you it's really good hand cream. I've been using it for years. My mum used it for years. You can get it in chemists. Sometimes you have to get them to order it for you, but I have found, and I'm afraid, you know, I'm sad to say this, but it is much cheaper on eBay. I always normally order it from my local chemist, but I couldn't get there. I looked online and it was so much cheaper to order on eBay. So it comes in the big tubs like I just showed you. I've got one in every room in my house practically, but it also comes in tubes if you don't want such a large quantity. So if you need hand cream and you're a paper crafter, then I can highly recommend Lotil. Oh, Sandy's saying it's $5.99 on Amazon. Yeah, that's a pretty good price, Sandy. Thank you very much. Marjorie's here and Pam is here. So Pam's saying hello to everyone. She's just finished catching up on yesterday's craft and chat, and you've come back for more, Pam. Fabulous. And Marjorie is saying hello, everyone. So hello to you both. It's so nice to have you here. Thank you for joining me. Right, so I think I've given you all the reminders, except to say that if you can like and share the video, that really helps me. You may be able to do it while you're watching, you may be able to do it at the end, but if you can do that, thank you very much indeed in advance. Sandy's saying hi to everyone else who's joined. Rosie's saying hi to Pam. So yes, really nice to have everybody here. I'm going to cover over the camera and turn you down, and we're going to get started now on what's happening with today's session, which is all about late summer and autumn crafting. I've got 3 projects to make with you. as soon as I've got everything set up so you can see what I'm going to be doing. There we go. I think I might be getting faster at this. Just needed a bit more practice, obviously. All right, I'll just clip my lead up and then I shall be there. Pam is saying, hello, lovely Rosie. It's so nice. Crafting friends are just the nicest of people, don't you think? You hardly ever meet a crafter who is not an incredibly kind, thoughtful and generous person. I think it brings out the nicest people of all. Okay, right, you don't need to see my lap. Let's tilt that in a little bit more. Let's see if that's better. Even a little bit more wouldn't be a bad thing. I'm sorry if you're watching this and getting motion sick, but I'm hoping I'm there now. Sandy says kindness spreads kindness. That's absolutely right, Sandy, and thank you very much indeed for the compliment. I very much appreciate that. All right then, so I've got my mini catalogue here. So I'm going to be focusing on two suites this afternoon. The Blackberry Beauty suite, which is on page 44. So if you've got your catalogue handy, you can look at that along with me. So Blackberry Beauty on page 44 and the Harvest Meadow suite on page 54. So Kay says she's just got this set. Aha, that must be the Blackberry one, I think, Kay, probably because I'm not sure if I'd said the other one by then. Good. Well, if you've made some lovely projects, do tell us all about them. I think it's absolutely gorgeous, this set, I must say. I did buy the whole suite for this. So that's that. And the Harvest Meadow set, I bought selected items from it. However, when I went looking for my patterned paper, I discovered, shock horror, that I'd forgotten to order it. So that's on my next order. So I don't have the paper to show you, unfortunately, but it's extremely pretty and it complements everything else really well. I don't have the cork paper, but I've seen people using it and that looks like it's a lot of fun. But I will be showing you some other bits from in there as well. So Belinda has both the suites and she loves them. And Sandy says she's literally just ordered the Meadow suite before I came on. So there we go then. I've obviously picked some popular ones. So I hope I'll be able to suggest some things that you can try. So let me move my catalogue out of the way. And I'm going to start off with the Blackberry Beauty suite. So there are stamps and dies in this. And as always, I've stamped the stamps because somehow I think they look different when you actually see them stamped on card compared with when you look at the box or the picture in the catalogue. They are really nice. There are 3 images here. There are 2 sort of botanical images there. This little bird, which I'm absolutely in love with. There's a really nice spatter stamp, and then there are quite a few words. This one here says the changing of leaves reminds us that new wonders are just around the corner, which is a really nice positive message, I think. And this one says, I know this is a difficult day. And then there's another stamp that says, I'm here for you. So you can use those obviously together or separately. And then there's some people are just likeable, and then another stamp, you're one of those people. So again, you can use those separately or you can use them together. So those words are really quite different, and I think they're going to be really nice ones to have on my shelf ready to use. So Sandy's got the Blackberry bundle, not the suite, okay. And Gillian's just got the Harvest Meadow suite. Good. Well, I think you're all thinking the same as me then, that they're both really nice. And then these are the dies that come with the set. The dies are called Beautiful Leaves dies, and of course you can get them bundled with the stamp. Some of you have got them already. So 3 of the dies cut out 3 of the stamped images. And then you've also got 4 little oak leaves, and then this really large die which cuts out a beautiful, really detailed, large piece of oak leaves all together. I think you can probably see the shapes. I thought it was going to be slightly ferny, but it's actually oak leaves. So it's like lots of sprays of oak leaves all joined together. And you could certainly snip these apart to get various sections if you didn't want something as big as that. So Rosie's saying that leaf is so big. It really is, Rosie, isn't it? Well, here's my hand. So yeah, it's bigger than my hand. Really, really big. It's lovely. Really lovely die, that one. And the paper I did actually show you on Tuesday when I was going through my favourite things, so I'm only going to go through it quite quickly now. I know lots of you saw that session either live or on the recording, but the paper is absolutely gorgeous. So this is called, let me get the right name, is it Blackberry Beauty paper? Yeah, Blackberry Beauty paper it's called. It's a specialty paper, so it's got gold foiling on it, absolutely beautiful. So you've got the little bird here, and some of the birds you can cut out with the die, which is nice. On the reverse of that, you've got this beautiful pattern. So this image here is the same as the stamped image. It's just a slightly different scale, but it coordinates perfectly. I really like this one with the owl. And again, lots of gold foiling on that, and the leaves and the little toadstools. And on the back of that is a sort of a distressed diamond pattern, and the colours are all these beautiful plum colours, gold and brown, so very autumnal. So this is a beautiful, it's almost all gold foil this side, again a botanical print, and on the back there's a herringbone in browns. There's this beautiful oak leaf print, oak leaves and acorns, and some berries on there as well, again with a lot of gold. Hoping the gold is showing up. If I turn this around the right way, then we've got a botanical print on here as well, but this time in cinnamon cider. Rosie says she's never going to tire of seeing this paper. I feel like that, Rosie. It's just so beautiful. And this one again is flowers and leaves, almost entirely gold. And then on the back there's a pattern of twigs with a dark brown background. So these are lovely for more masculine projects, but also beautiful for anything really where you want a kind of a natural set of images. And then this one is another one of those which Stampin' Up are doing a lot at the moment, where they are mirror imaging the design. So you can cut this up into card fronts, into covers for books. It's just beautiful. So lots of botanical images there, again with the gold on them, and exactly the same on this side. And then on the back we have thistles or knapweed, again in those shades of purple. Rosie says this is her favourite. Yeah, I think it might be my favourite, Rosie, although every time I look at them I've got a new favourite. Okay, and the colours in the paper are polished pink, blackberry bliss, rich razzleberry, early espresso, cinnamon cider, and of course lots of gold. So beautiful purples, plums, browns, with a little hint of pink. So that's the paper. I'm going to show you the ephemera pack. Now this is a whole pack. I actually popped everything out because I wanted to show you what you get and how many of everything you get. And it says on the pack that there are 40 pieces, so hopefully I've got 40 to show you. I tried to keep them in some kind of order. So there are lots of labels. There's another small one like that somewhere, but I can't see it for the minute. It will have got underneath something. And there are tags as well. These are all die cut. You literally just pop them out of the backing paper. I'm standing that one up, but it will also go this way. So you can see that lots of these pieces there are two of. In fact, I think probably there's two of everything. So we've got bigger tags as well. There's lots of foiling detail on these, but you've got also the same purples and pinks and browns. All right, then we got, can I go up a little bit? I think I can. Some frames. Might have to move things down just a little bit and fit those frames in, and then I'll have to move all these in a moment because there's so much more that I need to get on. So these are all pieces that you might want to either stamp on or use with stamped images. So lots and lots of tags and banners and labels and frames. I didn't count those, I don't know if anybody did, but there's a lot there. So that is those. And there's more. So we have some images. Again, 2 of each, this lovely sprig of oak leaves. This one, which might just be my favourite, which is the owl in flight. Got floral, so these are all on cards, so they are reasonably sturdy. Rosie says that piece is my favourite. Is that the owl is your favourite, Rosie, or was that something else is your favourite? I didn't see when your comment went up. So when you get your ephemera pack, do use it. You've got 2 of everything, so if you have to, you can keep one to stroke and have one to use. But do use them. They're so lovely. It's going to be hard to use the owls, but I will use them. Then we've got some pieces which are gold foil. These are just beautiful, and the detail on them is stunning. I'm just going to move these oak leaves and owls and those plants up a little bit. Let's move those over. Almost done. There we are. So that then is everything. If I bring back the little pile from before and just slide that in at the edge, there is a lot in this pack, ever such a lot in the pack, and I think it's amazing. That's £5.50. So how many projects could you make with this little lot? Really, really good value. It's nice quality. It's well die cut, so they're very easy to pop out. Even the pieces like this one, which are very, very delicate, they come out without damaging. So I think it's a beautiful addition. If you like this suite, you definitely want the ephemera pack. Oh, right. Yes, Rosie. Yes, thank you. Yes, sorry. I did see your comment earlier. Yes, so you're talking about the paper, and it's the one with the mirror image. Yeah, I understand what you meant now. Okay, so I've shown you the stamps and the dies and the papers. We've looked at the ephemera pack. The gold ribbon is beautiful. I used that on a Christmas card yesterday, but of course it also works really nicely with the papers being gold. And the gold shimmer paper, shimmer vellum I should say, I showed you that at the beginning of the week, and I also popped some of that into the little kit I sent out with your catalogues. So that is really pretty. It's got a really nice sparkly shimmer to it on one side. It die cuts beautifully, so it's really, really lovely. So that's everything in the suite. Let me bring in a couple of projects. So I'm going to make one similar to this, but not quite the same, because it's nice to show you a different idea. So there we go, using Rosie's favourite paper. got the actual stamps in a bucket in the floor, which is what I'm banging around looking for, so bear with me while I find what I'm after. There we are. So I've used a piece of that beautiful patterned paper here. I've added one of the tags from the ephemera pack. I've also added one of the flowers from the ephemera pack. And let me lift this up. I'm hoping you can see the texture on here. This is a piece of early espresso card which I have embossed using the Time Worn Type embossing folder, which is absolutely beautiful. I love this folder. And then I've added a little piece of the faux suede trim. This is in the annual catalogue. One of the little gold bumblebees, because they really need to go on everything. They're so lovely. And these are a couple of the brushed metallic adhesive backed dots, which are here. I'm glad you like it, Rosie, thank you. So let me hold these up for you to see. So these are really lovely. They go with any kind of project at all where you're using metals or foils in these warm colours. So there's copper, gold and bronze, I guess. And they're called brushed, and they really are brushed. They're not shiny, they sort of glow, but they're really lovely. So dots in 2 different colours, and there are 90 of them all together, so 30 in each colour. So inside I've just used one of the stamps, which is a similar shape to this and also is echoed in that paper. So I thought to make another one, I'll make it just slightly differently. I did do the die cutting in advance because I can't get my die cutting machine under the camera, so it's not very exciting. Sometimes I die cut live, but you can't really see what I'm doing. So what have I got here? All sorts of bits and pieces. So I have an early espresso card base. I have another piece of that beautiful paper, but I've cut it slightly smaller so it doesn't cover the whole of the card front. I've actually got a border around. And then I may not use all of these, but I've die cut a couple of the botanical images. I've got one of the gold leafy images. I've got a couple of gold bees. I've got this gold frame, and I just took a scrap of vanilla card, laid the frame down and drew around the inside with pencil, and then just snipped it out a little bit larger so I've got something around the edge to actually stick to, so that I can stamp on here rather than, I could lay this over here and stamp directly on the paper, but I decided I would do it on a little bit of card. So I'm going to stick my paper down first. It's hard to cover up one of the sides on this paper, but fortunately I bought myself 3 packs, so I've got plenty to play with. There we are. I'm going to stamp my label and put the frame on it, and then just allow that a minute or 2 to dry. And I have early espresso ink, and I'm actually going to do a thank you. I'm using the thank you from what's it called, the Nature's Harvest stamp set, which I'll be showing you properly in a minute. So I've just pulled in the thank you from that. Let me see if I can get this straight. I can't quite look at the top, over the top at it, but we'll try and stamp that straight. And then I'm just going to put a little bit of glue around the edge of this and stick the frame on there. I didn't leave a very big border. I could have been a bit more generous with the border, I think. Ooh, and I've stuck that too far over. Might need to bring my rubber in. There we go. I should have stamped on the side with no pencil. There we are. That's not my neatest piece of work. But never mind. We'll set that aside to dry. So now, I might not use this. This might be a little bit big, but I'm just going to arrange the foliage on here. And my thinking is that I'm going to bring my label in. I don't know, I think that works. Works for me anyway. It's very personal, isn't it, when you arrange things like this? What's too much, what's too big, what you put where. So I just stamped these in early espresso ink on very vanilla card. And then this gold leaf is from that ephemera pack, the same as the little frame is as well. There we are. When I finish today's session, I'm going to come in with my glue eraser, and I'm also going to come in and erase the little trace of pencil that is on there. So you'll have to bear with me for the sake of speed and doing things live. That's not as neat as I would like, but I will fix that. So that's that. Then I need some glue dots for my bees. Actually, I'm looking at these. I've mixed up 2 pots of bees, put them in the same one, and I noticed when I did that some are a very bright gold and some are slightly duller, and I've picked one of each. I'm actually just going to swap one of those. I guess it's different batches, the same as if you get, if you're an embroiderer or a knitter, you'll know that if you've got more than one ball or skein, you need to check the batch numbers are the same, because there's always a little bit of variation. If I was putting several on, I probably would pick varied golds, but I want 2 the same, I think, for this card. Right, that's better. Glue dots are much the easiest things to hold these on, and I always press my embellishment onto the glue dot, and then the glue dot comes off with the embellishment, and then it's just becomes self-adhesive. There we are. So that is my card front finished, except for a little bit of tidying up there. And then I was getting all this ready and I was a bit over enthusiastic, and I actually stamped my insert, which I would have done it now for you, but I'd already done it and it seemed silly to not use it then. So I've just stamped that with the same image as this. And I like to leave, other than a little bit of decoration, I like to leave my inserts clear on thank you cards, and then I can write in them what I'm saying thank you for. There we are. So that's another card using the same paper. I'll let you have a little look at those. I'm just going to drink some of my tea while you do. It was really hard to cut up this piece of paper. Do you find the same? It was so lovely. I just didn't want to do anything with it. But I'm glad I have, because I like the cards. All right, So let me make something else. Just going to pop those cards to one side. So I haven't got one of these to show you. I've just got all the bits. So what have I got? You can see that I've die cut several of the oak leaves. I've used cinnamon cider card and early espresso card. I have one of those die cut frames from the ephemera pack, a piece of vanilla card that's pretty much the same size, and then I have a standard card base, a landscape card base, and I've basically cut half of the front away. And I've got some of this beautiful oak leaf patterned paper. So that's going to go in there, and this is going to go on here. I'll stick those in place. Thank you, Belinda. I'm glad you liked those cards. I'm just looking at this to see which way round I want to put it. I'm pretty sure it will go either way or any way. Did I say my card base is cinnamon cider? I can't remember if I said that or not. There we are. So that's the base of my card done. Let me set that aside, and I'm just going to bring in this stamp here. And I've got my early espresso ink, and I'm going to stamp the piece of card that's going to go behind the frame like that. And my stamp, I think I've got plenty of room. Sometimes I mark in pencil, but I think as long as I'm pretty central, I've got plenty of room to fit that stamp in. So I'm just going to put that centrally, so that centre line is coming down the middle of my card. That will just help me line things up. So now I'm going to attach the frame to the stamped piece. And I'm sure you can see, but there are gold oak leaves and acorns on this, so it echoes the paper I've chosen really nicely. See if I can be a little bit more controlled about the glue this time. There we are. So that piece is now going to come onto here. So I'm just going to stick it halfway between this point and this point. But what I need to remember, and shout at me if I forget as I pick up my glue, is not to put any glue on this half here. Otherwise I will stick down and my card won't open. I'm also looking, I don't know if you can see, I've got just the tiniest hint of vanilla card showing on that edge. So I'm just going to trim that off. Really is only a tiny smidgen, but I can see it, and there's also a little tiny bit on this bottom edge. I obviously did not stick my vanilla card quite straight on the back. That's okay because it's fixable. Right, so that's going to go on there. So I want to put glue on this half on the back. There we are. So that's my card front, and now I'm just going to add a few leaves just kind of scattered on. I probably won't use them all. Something like that. I quite often will take a photograph using my phone if I've arranged some pieces on like this, and then I can reproduce them when I come to actually stick them on. It's a great use of modern technology. But I shall just have to remember this time. They probably won't go back in exactly the same place. That's okay. I'm not sure this was that way round, but it is now. If I'm adding little pieces like this, more than one in a cluster, I try to have them touching each other, even if it's only a little bit, in most cases, because they just seem to look more like they belong together that way, rather than you've just randomly stuck them on. And then my piece for inside, I can add another oak leaf too. That one's got a little bit squashed. Let's use this one. Like that. Now when I put my insert in, I actually don't want it to be peeking out of the edges or the top and the bottom here. So what I do is I put my glue on the back as normal. Check which way round it goes, which is this way. Then I'm going to open up this. I'm going to lay this over the top of my piece that's going on the front, my piece that's already attached. So you can't see here, you can see that I've laid my insert piece exactly on that front piece. Then I'll fold that over and press, so that will pick up my insert. And now it's stuck down and it's not poking out on the front. Now it doesn't matter, you don't have to do that, but I just find that gives me a neater finish. And did you spot where I didn't stick this exactly on the back? I actually need to tidy that up. So I'm just going to grab a little piece of vanilla card. Just a scrap piece, and all I'm going to do is glue this on there and then trim off the excess, and that will give me a neat finish, and it will hide the fact that I've got an uneven edge there where I didn't stick that straight. So I'm butting this up against my card front here, and then I can just trim that excess off on the front, and it will look much neater on the inside of the card. So fine on the front, much neater on the back. She's got a little wobble here where I was just making sure I didn't snip off that oak leaf twig. There we are. So that's a different card. Again, using a beautiful paper, some of the ephemera and the stamps and the dies. Right, so I'm just going to clear the decks a little bit and then I can show you some pieces from the other suite. Let's clean these stamps. I finished my Christmassy session yesterday and I had real red ink all over my arm where I'd obviously leaned on an inky stamp. So it'll be good to try not to do that today. Right, so let's move that one out of the way. And I'm going to show you some elements now of the Harvest Meadow suite. So this is where those brushed metallic dots come from. There's also some very pretty crocheted, well, they're calling it diamond weave ribbon. It looks a bit like kind of crocheted lace to me. Very pretty. There's the Time Worn Type embossing folder, which I absolutely love. You saw me use that on this card here. It's this lovely distressed folder and it just adds a little something. It's very subtle but very beautiful. The paper, which I've already told you I thought I'd ordered, and shock horror, I have not, but it's coming. But I will show you the stamps and die bundle. So these are the stamps, Nature's Harvest, and I've stamped them out for you. So they stamp really beautifully. There's lots of fine line detailing. You've got this little bunch of flowers here. You've got another little flower sprig here. I don't know if these are Rudbeckias or what they are, but they're very lovely. And these look a little bit like a kind of a, I don't know, not dandelions, but that family. Then you've got this, which is the most lovely smudgy background stamp, and then some words. So thank you. I do love a good thank you. And good luck. Now we don't have many, if any, sets with good luck in, and I'm often asked for a good luck stamp, so I'm really pleased to see it in here. And then there's two really nice sentiments: a reminder to never forget how much you mean to me and so many others, and sending healing thoughts, may nature's beauty bring peace to your soul. So those two are really, really nice. And Gillian has said the card looked very opulent with the gold. Yeah, I do love a bit of gold. And Kay said she did lavender out of one of the dies. Aha, I bet I know which one, Kay. Let me show you the dies. So these are, of course, bundled to save you 10%. So I expect you mean that one, do you, Kay? It would make beautiful lavender. It's a really clever shape because you can see that it's lavender, but it could also be corn. It's a lovely shape. So with the dies, you've got two which cut out two of the stamped images, and this one does cut out in a lot of detail. You've got little holes here and here and here, so it really does outline those nicely. Then you have three dies which cut complementary shapes. So these three here, so like silhouettes, and then there is this really nice label. And this long piece here, which probably I should have just put on the back rather than standing it up, but I wasn't really thinking straight. And then also you've got this lovely twiggy piece, which is a really useful shape to have as well. So the dies are fabulous, and when I first looked at these, the thing I thought was how well these will go with the Meadow dies. So these are the Meadow dies in the annual catalogue. So they are a very similar style. If you look at these here, you've got these lovely botanical silhouettes, and then you've got more botanical silhouettes in the Meadow dies. So even without the Quiet Meadow stamps, which look like this, and you've actually got, again, you've got like this distressed typewritten stamp here, which goes beautifully with the time worn type embossing folder. But even without those, these dies are a lovely complement to these. They work really, really nicely with them. So I'll move those out of the way. Those are in the annual catalogue, but these are your two sets plus on the back in the Nature's Harvest bundle. So I really like this. I love the label shapes. They're so useful for all kinds of projects. Right, so let me now bring in my final project for the day. So I'm going to make one of these. I'm just going to drink some more tea while you have a quick look at that. So I've used yellows and browns here, which definitely says, you know, late summer or autumn to me. So this is the Blackberry Beauty paper. This is the back side of this design. So I've used that herringbone pattern on the back. I've stamped and die cut the flowers. I've cut this die, and if I lift it up, oh, hang on a minute, I'm just getting a low battery warning. I plugged my phone in, but I did exactly what I said to you yesterday I do all the time, and I didn't actually turn it on. It's on now. Thank goodness for that. I ran this one here through the time-worn type embossing folder, so I'm hoping you can see the texture on that. It goes all the way down. So I've only used plain card, but it just makes it a little bit more interesting. I've used the label, I've used the thank you stamp. You know by now that I like to have a good stash of thank you cards because I send a lot of them. And I've stamped my card base with this image here. So let me get on and make one of these. So I have my card base first of all. Let's just take the insert out. And Bumblebee ink. My card base is Bumblebee as well. Thank you, Rosie. I'm glad you like it. And let me find that stamp. So I'm just going to stamp down either side here, which is the part of the card that's going to be exposed by the paper layers. So I'm turning this round as I go, just because I don't want it to look symmetrical. I just want it to have some interest. There we are. So you can see when I put this layer on top, that's just made the side of the card a little bit more interesting than it might have been otherwise. So then I've got a layer of early espresso card and a piece of the Blackberry Beauty patterned paper. Again, it seems dreadful to be sticking down the layer with all the gold, but it is nice to have the slightly more subdued one for this card. I really am getting glue everywhere today. So there's that. Then I've got some pieces I've prepared here. So I've die cut this one, which can certainly be lavender, as Kay did, or in this case I've done it in bumblebee cards, so it's a little bit more like corn. And then I've stamped and die cut and mostly coloured this image. I just thought I would colour the last little bit. So I have Daffodil Delight Stampin' Blends markers here. I would have used Bumblebee if we had Bumblebee ones, we don't, but the daffodil works just fine. So I'm starting with the light one, and I'll just add in some of the dark as well. I used soft suede dark, the dark marker for the centre of the flowers, and I used light and dark old olive for the stems. Now I'm not doing anything terribly sophisticated here with the shading. I've just roughly added some of the darker colour where the lines are on the stamped image, and then I'm just going over the top again with the light marker, which just helps blend the dark into the light. So you end up with there's just a hint of dimension there, but nothing fancy. If I can get my glue going. There we are. So I don't need it all covered, just some little dots every, I don't know, half an inch or so will hold everything in place. And then where I've got an end, like the bottom of the stems or the edges of the little leaves, I just try and make sure there's a little bit of glue there, just so that they're secured on the card. I'm so glad you like them, Marjorie. Marjorie says, fabulous cards today. Her list is never ending. Well, you know the answer to a never ending list, Marjorie, don't you? And that is joining. Because that way you can get some of it for free and the rest at a discount, which is probably why you previously joined. So you'll be very welcome back if you decide that is the way to clear your wish list. Alright, so I cut one of the little labels in basic white card, and I'm just going to stamp thank you on that. So this is the thank you that's in the Nature's Harvest stamp set. Ooh, no, I'm going to have to bring that down. I'm hoping you can still see it close to me, but I definitely need a little bit closer to be able to stamp it. There we are. And I'm going to pop some dimensionals on the back of this. And then just layer that over the bottom of the stems. And then the finishing touch is some of these metallic dots, and I'm wondering whether to try the bronze ones. Let me just pick one up and lay it against. What do we think, ladies? So let me bring in the first card. That's my finished card where I used copper. If I'll put this down here. So do you think copper, or shall I try with the bronze? I'll leave that there and drink some of my tea while you decide for me. I've got all you experts watching, so you can make the decision. Actually, looking at my iPad, I'm not sure you can see that colour. Let me lift this up a little bit. There we are. It's got quite a green tinge to it, which I think picks up the olive of the stems, but see what you think. Rosie's saying copper, okay. Oh, Marjorie's saying bronze. All right, I need one more person to decide, and I'll go with that. That'll be the deciding vote. Copper, Maureen's saying. Okay, copper it is. Sorry, Marjorie. I'll have to do another one with bronze. So I'm just scattering these, really, a mixture of large and small ones. And because they're self-adhesive, it's very, very easy to put them on. And then I just need, if I can find it, somewhere I had a white layer, didn't I, for an insert? Here it is. And I'm just going to stamp those daisies on there. In fact, that looks like it's got an inky thumbprint on it. Let's turn it over. Thank goodness for the emergency side. Oh gosh, there's loads more votes come up here. It's all too late, ladies, isn't it? So what did we have? We had we had 3 for copper, and we had 3 for bronze. Well, look at that, it's a tie in the end. So I think that must mean that either of them would look fine. So if you said bronze, I'm sorry. So I'll just pop my insert in. So again, I've made another thank you card, so I haven't put any words on this. There we are. So 2 the same but slightly different cards. I think the placement of things is very slightly different on there, but basically the same as each other. So there you have it. That is my late summer and autumn crafting with the Blackberry Beauty Suite and the Harvest Meadow Suite. So let me bring back the other cards. Let's move that one out of the way just for the minute. Hoping you can see all those, but again, I'll have to wait for my iPad to catch up. Let's put that one that side. I think that might be better, actually. Might give you more of a view of everything. So I love these colours. I love the golds and the other metallics from those little sticky dots. I love the botanical images. I've got so many leaf and flower images in my sets of stamps, but I never tire of them. I think these are gorgeous. I don't think it matters what you pick. You're going to be able to make really beautiful projects with them. And do show me if you make anything. Pop a photo here or email me a photograph, and I'll love to add it. If you're in my paper crafters group, please pop some photos of your projects there, because everybody loves to see what you make. Thank you, Marjorie. I'm glad you found it inspiring, and I will look forward very much to seeing what you make as well. I'm just going to flip the camera back up and say a proper goodbye to you. So bear with me while I do that. Just transfer my microphone over and press my buttons to reset everything so I'm not upside down, hopefully. Trying to get the camera right. I think that's it. You are very welcome, Maureen. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed them. And thank you, Kay and Gillian. Excellent. Gillian's off to play. I'm very pleased to hear that. So I will be back here next Friday at 2 o'clock. And I decided that I'm going to do trees and leaves next week. I've no idea what I'm going to create, but I've got plenty of tree and leaf stamps. So I will come up with something in the week to share with you next week. I hope you get some crafting in this weekend, and whatever you're doing, I hope you have a really good time. See if there's any last comments. Oh, just lovely comments. Thank you very much indeed. Lynn says she's watching the replay now. Brilliant, Lynn. Well, I hope you enjoy it. And it's so nice to have spent so much of this week with you all. Thank you very much for taking the time to craft with me, and I'll see you again next Friday. Bye-bye.